Welcome to the tunepactpodcast. I'm your host, the punk rock pop, Lee Pierce. And today we're going to be talking about video production for marketing. And our guests today are Lunar Moth from Madison, Wisconsin. Hey
Howdy,
guys,
thank
why
you
don't you
for having
introduce
us.
yourself?
Hi, I'm Gage Mouth. I play drums.
I'm Mac Moth, and I play the bass.
And about how long you guys been playing and doing this project?
Oh boy, we've been a band for about 5 years now. Yeah, I mean, if you count the COVID years, 5.
All right. So the reason I had you guys on is I love what you guys do with video production. So I'm an old guy. I grew up with MTV. Like you had to have a video to go with your music, and it's so rare to see that anymore. Being a younger generation, there is no MTV. Nobody does videos. What drew you guys to doing the actual making music videos for each of your songs?
Yeah, take this, Mac.
Sure. I think mostly we did it for kind of for the fun of it, but also like as a way to promote your music. When we started playing in a band, we were kind of looking into how do we get out there? How do we reach more people? Because you're kind of starting from ground zero. When you first form a band. So that's kind of how it started, but also just for the fun of it. And then it eventually developed into a thing to create videos for Reels, because that's a big way of promoting yourself as well. Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikToks, stuff like that. That's what everybody's watching these days.
Yeah, I think another big point is like all of us are kind of like artists in the sense that we play music, and then like also like Mac and myself also took a bunch of film classes back in high school, as did Amber, our singer, and she's kind of like the mastermind behind a lot of the ideas and the overarching like feeling of stuff, because she does all like the artwork for our actual like albums and singles and stuff like that. So a lot of it comes from that sort of plan, like how does this stuff fit in to the universe of this album.
Now, since you're talking about that, now because since the video production is such a big part of your overall brand, when you guys are working and planning out that album, are you thinking about those videos as well? Like, hey, kind of building that whole plan from start to finish like that?
I really wish that we did. So like I know it seems like we're put together, but we're not. A lot of it does come down to just like the overwhelming desire to like, you work so hard on putting something out, so you want to make sure that people see it. And like the unfortunate truth of like music and local music these days is if you're just trying to if you're trying to rely on like organic reach, like you're done. Like no one's going to see it, so you kind of have to go through those avenues and think of like what's the best way to get it out there? How can you get people's attention? And we took cues from other bands and like scenes around us and like what they were doing, and sometimes it's like the more ridiculous the better, but also like what did we do, what do we like? And I have like a pretty hard stop on like, I'm not gonna do trendy stuff. I can't dance. Like I look the way I look, you know what I mean? It's like I can only do so much. So when it comes to doing that sort of thing, it's like, this is the song that we want to promote. What can we do? And then how can we cut that down to like 1/10 of what it's supposed to be? Because like, I don't know. I don't think making videos was ever supposed to be in 10-second segments. It's incredibly hard.
Yeah, that's what also I was going to ask you is, do you do both? Do you try to compress it down like you're shooting just for a reel? Because I know you also will shoot full music videos. Do you just like cut 10 out, or if you're like, no, let's just try to get one for this section?
Mac, I think we're going to alternate, so I'm just going to
Sure.
let you know that now.
Yeah. So I mean, we do a little bit of both. We have done videos in the past where it was a music video that we made for a song that we wrote, and then from that music video, we took little clips out of it and just cut segments out of it to use for the promotion on social media and for the background on Spotify and such. But we also do make a lot of short videos just to promote like a show, a lot of shows, or like a release, and those are kind of like their own entities. Those are, like we just come up with those at the spot. And usually it's just the first dumb idea that somebody spouts out, and we kind of go with that because you got to make a lot of them.
That actually leads right into my next topic I wanted to ask you about was along with the actual music videos and the short reels for the music, you do a lot of promos for, it seems like every single gig you got coming up, you guys take the time to shoot promos. And people seem to underestimate the importance of that because there is no marketing anymore. It's all digital marketing, and get as much of it out there as you can. And what made you guys go that route where, a lot of bands just don't, if they have a really big show coming up, they'll get on and promote it, but you guys seem to shoot a promo for every gig, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I think that kind of comes out of oh man, I'm gonna plug in a band quick. Totally Cashed out of Chicago. They used to do a lot of the same thing, and we kind of took some cues from them because it's like if you want people to come out, like that's a really big way for people to see you. And it's kind of like doing the absurd stuff. It probably seemed like we were doing it all the time last year because it was like we did 3 release shows for our album. We did tours, and all of that I think is like big enough to kind of like require that sort of promotion. But then also like we did I think 5 or 6 release shows for other bands as well, and all of them wanted to do like video promo for it too. So we're doing stuff all over the place, and it's awesome, and I think it helps quite a bit. But it does become a little taxing just having to do that all the time because like. Someone asked us recently if music was our only job, and it's not. So it's like between like actually working our 9 to 5s and then also like practicing, it'll be like we practiced for 2 hours. Okay, let's go shoot some promo. It's cool when we do it and we really like it. There have been some shows that within the last year where it was like kind of the venue is like, you need to make a reel for this, and I was like, cool, but also like I kind of don't want to. Like it was an out of town show, and it was the first time it ever happened. I hope it's not going to become a norm that like it's kind of a required thing, because it used to be like make the Facebook event, invite all your friends. It's like that's just so much extra work, and I don't want to say it's not worth it, but it's just like we already have so much on our plates.
Well, you probably set yourself up for the extra work because of the extra work you do. The other venues see you putting out a promo for the last 6, they're going to be like, where's ours?
Yeah, exactly. I get it. It's just like, man, sometimes it'd be nice to have a little break.
Oh, yeah.
Not everything we do is gold. Like the stuff that we put out is probably less than half of the amount of videos we shoot, just because it's like, we want to be able to stand by the stuff that we do, and if it's like too stupid or if it doesn't turn out, we're not putting it out.
Please tell me you'll release some blooper reels then, because I get a kick out of all the videos, and if you tell me you're only putting out the best stuff, I want to see some of the stuff that wasn't, because like, you guys crack me up. The tripping down the hill thing, the hot beef you had with the other band, like the stuff just it just kills me. Actually, that's it. The next thing I want to talk about, I'm sure, like we were just talking, the every single gig one trying to cut a quick promo, whether it's a 5-second or a 30-second, is going to get monotonous. But then I know you guys look forward to the long form promos that you do for like your bigger shows and stuff like that, with the storylines and other bands. And what got you guys wanting to do that? Because that's something that's it's unheard of, and it's just incredible. Every one of those are just like a mini movie, and I just get a real kick out of them. I love them.
Oh, is that one on me?
Yeah, you can do that one.
Oh, sure. It's just it's a lot of fun, and I think it's so much fun to especially get together with other bands to to make like a promo video for like a certain film. And a lot of times it's like in order to promote one show, we'll do multiple short videos. So every once in a while we'll do like a part 1 or a part 2, and that's kind of fun. But I like really just getting together with other bands. Coordinating schedules is always a pain in the butt, but the more people you have, the more ideas you can brainstorm and see what it turns into.
I think to add to his point, the three of us are kind of into absurdist comedy, and I think that's kind of the root of it. It's like absurdist comedy and really bad movies and that sort of thing. So it's like if you can set up a storyline that's just a little bit too ridiculous to believe and like hook people to come along with it and see how far you can take it, because it's like the short stuff is cool, but it's like it's really hard to cut something down to like 10 seconds. But if you get like an entire minute, or like in the form of like an actual music video, you can take something really far. So it like all three of us are big fans of like old school stuff like Monty Python, and I kind of push them into liking like Tim and Eric and Eric Andre and I Think You Should Leave and like some really bizarre stuff like the Adult Swim stuff. And like when you start trying to figure those ideas out and you have other bands in on it too and everyone's playing along, like those shoots are awesome because you can be there for a couple hours and just have some really good hangs, and by the end of it you've got 4 bands and you get to talk shop and catch up with people. And like one of the ones we did for our last album, a band member of the band Shuby couldn't make it, so we just made the entire premise being that he was dipping on the show because he didn't want to be there. Which he wasn't super keen on, but like it worked.
And who does a lot of like, the writers? A kind of a group creative process when it comes to shooting the more, well, basically they're short films is what they are, even though they're promos. But is that a group effort, or has somebody had that up more than?
It's definitely a group effort. Everybody kind of like spitballs ideas, or if somebody has a good idea, we'll kind of like take that and run with it and add to it. But it's definitely a group effort. Everybody kind of works to create the video, because it's a lot for one person to kind of just come up with. I don't know. I think it kind of helps the process along when everybody's chipping in a little bit of brain power. You end up with a good product or good video.
Yeah, my favorite was the Ghost Hunters one you did. That
nice. That's a deep cut.
Because it came up. The funny is, I was scrolling through and an actual one of those, and I'm like, oh, these are so stupid. And I'm scrolling through and I see you guys, and I'm like, oh, no. And it starts off so serious. Like I actually believed you guys, and I'm like, don't tell me they're those people that are ghost hunting. And I'm like, they're not really doing it. And then I'm watching it and I just died. That was absolutely incredible.
The funny thing is that comes from like a place of us actually like Amber and I really enjoy Ghost Hunters. Like
Ghost Adventures.
I like watching the shows because it's so over dramatic.
Yeah,
it's just I'd rather that's the one show, the show Supernatural, where they had the ghost hunters guys. That was such a great portrayal of it was just great. But yeah, no, that's probably my favorite promo you guys did.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then the one with was Smoke Free Home, when you guys came in like X-Files.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one was a blast. We spent all day filming. We did 2 videos because that one had a part 1 and a part 2. I'm pretty sure we filmed them both in the same day.
Yeah. You're bringing up videos I forgot we did.
I researched and I remember the ones I like. Well, that brings me to especially bands like Smoke Free Home and some of the bands that you do regular shows with. You are awesome about kind of working together on stuff, whether it be promos or what, but doing that cross promotion where you guys always seem to be helping each other out, having each other in their each other's promos and each other's videos. How big of a part does that play? Having that connection with other bands that where you're always playing gigs together, you're friends, you work together, you can bounce ideas off. Because a lot of people try to build a brand inside a scene, but they forget they got to reach out to the other bands too. It's not just the fans. And you guys just seem to do an excellent job of that. And what have been the highs and lows of that?
Yeah, I think it's really important to find, like, I don't know. I look at it in a different way than like a marketing perspective for this one, just because it's like I'm sure similar to you, like music's a huge part of my life, and like playing music has been like monumental for me. It's always been there for me. So it's like I look at it as like a musical family. Like you have to find your people, and they're out there. There's people for you everywhere you go. And if it's like going and meeting someone at a concert or playing a show with someone, but like in the case of Smoke Free Home, it's like I saw them for the first time at the first year of them being a band, and I was like, these guys are so good. Like they blew me away, and I was like, we have to do shows together, and that's where it started. And it just so happens that they're super chill. They're really cool people. So like when we did a split together, it just clicked. It was like we have to do promo for we have to do promo for it. We have to like do all sorts of stuff. And like it works, but it's like I don't know. I think it's super important to get out of your own scene, because like you can only play the same town so many times, but like when we go elsewhere and we play with bands, we're looking for bands that we're going to be friends with. If we like we want to like their music, and we want to like actually connect with people and play shows with cool people. So like if we go on tours and we find a band that we really like, we're gonna try and hang on to them and play with them like every time we go to a town, which is why like whenever we're in Fox Valley, we want to try and play with Smoke Free Home. We want to play with Shuby. When we're in Milwaukee, we want to play with Bug Moment. We used to play with a band called Nile Club. They're not around anymore, but they're like one of our favorite bands. It's just like building a connection and like a friendship, and it just so happens that a lot of the bands that we're friends with also just rip. So it's like we look forward to like watching them, talking to them. Like sometimes the hangs are even better than the shows themselves. Like excuse me, sometimes like hanging out in a place in like Milwaukee at Linneman's, the green room is underneath the stage, and it is just like a family reunion. Like it's, I don't know, it's amazing. But to your point, it is incredibly important to make connections and friendships within the music scene, because like those are people who are bringing you into their home and sharing their fans with you. And if you can all bring each other up by doing something like a video together to promote a show, or like collaborate on posters, or like the split that we did with Smoke Free Home was awesome. I wish we would have had more time to like actually dig in and like get venues that we wanted. We kind of threw it together a little last minute because that's when it was done, and we're both busy beyond that point. So it's like, I don't know. That's the split is like the thing as old as punk itself, and it still works so well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's half my record collection is old splits from the old split sevens from the 90s. And it's like it's awesome stuff. Like it's a 16-year-olds that saved their money to print 20 copies and never played together again. I mean, I just got stacks of the most obscure and terrible 7-inches ever, and I love them because that's what they are. You know, they're one of those kids that's probably got a kid or grandkids someplace, and they're wondering whatever happened to that album. I've probably got it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, splits are amazing, and it's just a way to bands to get together and try and share something. In the case of the Smoke Free Home Lunar Moth split, we happened to cover each other's songs on that one, so that was a weird and cool idea that I don't know if we'll ever do again.
That's something I grew up with. A lot of the splits I have in the 90s. Any of the bigger bands, they would do one or two of their own, and then a cover of whoever's on the flip side of it.
Oh, that's cool.
That was always cool. And they were stuff that will never be released on digital. It's only on those 7-inches, you know, so.
Right.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, back to the video production stuff. So what has been your guys' favorite that you can remember, whether it was a promo or a music video or just one of the fun, silly ones that you guys do.
I have one if you want me to go first, Mac.
Sure.
Yeah. I only have one gripe about it because like we did it so last minute. The lighting is a little weird in it. But the basement, I'm gonna take a step back. If I lived alone, we dedicated like an entire day after a show. So we played in Stevens Point or Wausau, I think, and then we have family in the central Wisconsin area, so we spent the night at a family member's house. We were outside at their house like all day shooting the first video for them, and then we went to Amber's younger brother's house, who lives down the street like 20 minutes, and in his basement he's got a vintage phone collection which he inherited from his wife's family member. So the second bout of videos and like subsequently full music video from that day is from essentially like a small collection, or maybe you could probably call it like a museum collection of vintage telephones and a vintage switchboard and like all this stuff that's in the basement of his house. And we saw it and we're like, we have to do something here, because "Would You Call Me on the Telephone" is a repeated line throughout the entire song, and it just worked out perfectly. We just so happened to have like show lights with us, which were not the vibe I wanted, but they worked for what it was. And like, yeah, it was super cool. So we ended up like rearranging his entire basement and like putting all of these phones up, and we got some video with the switchboard and stuff. That was super cool. Although like that was probably 8 or more hours of filming that day. So by the time we were done and had to drive back to Madison, which was a 2-hour drive, was kind of grueling.
For me, it's hard to narrow down. I would say that was definitely the one he was talking about, was one of my favorites, just because, you know, of like having fun outside of, you know, like we were all kind of tired and drained. And, you know, like, oh, we got to make this video, you know, this is a good place to do it. And half the day we just spent filming out in the yard, and the other half was in that basement with the phones. But like Gage said, you know, we showed up and there was all those phones, and we're like, oh, you know, we have to make a video. And the video kind of like surrounded that, you know, like it was kind of where we got the inspiration for that one from, was just walking in and seeing all these phones. But also another one of my favorites was probably the hot dog one, just because I got to eat brats, and they were tasty.
That was a good one.
And I also really like the smoke-free home, the ones we did with smoke-free home that you mentioned earlier. I'd say those are my top 3.
Yeah, that was a good one. Another top contender was the Ghost Adventure ones for me, because I got to play Zach Baggins in that one.
That one was fun. We're actually going to be doing real ghost hunting after I sit and bag on it.
Oh, for
but
real?
No, because my youngest son, he's 18, and we got him a radiation detector for Christmas. Well, the one we got isn't the right kind. It's technically used for ghost hunting. So we ended up getting him the right one. So now he's got a radiation detector. Well, because he collects the uranium glass. So he wanted to be able to scan it and stuff like that. Well, yeah, so now we've actually got a ghost detector, too. So if you guys ever want to use one for real, let me know.
That'd be cool. I also have Amber joining me now. She just got home from work.
Oh, look at here. Hey, Amber.
Left ear. Hopefully this is okay. She just got
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Pretty good. Well, I could run through the questions. Look at this. We'll do a speed round. You ready?
Oh, sure.
Amber, it's your turn. You get all the rest of the questions.
Yeah, we're just talking about all the fun videos you guys do between the promos and the actual music videos. Of all the ones you guys have done, what was your favorite and why?
I guess I have 2 for different reasons. I really like our Cotton Candy music video just because there's a lot of like practical effects that went into it, and we all got to spend like a very long amount of time with each other, but basically just kind of goofing around and hanging out all day. Although it was on the hottest day of like the entire year, which was made things a little bit difficult every now and again. But
we had to keep going inside to cool off. Like every
yeah.
once in a while, we'd take a break to go in, and they had the AC blasting in their house, and we just go in there and cool off, and then go back outside and finish filming. You know,
the ice cream melting in the cotton candy music video was actually happening because it was so hot. Like we had to like go from inside and run to the back of our yard where we were filming it because it would just start melting immediately.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one and the telephone one again now.
And then I think like more recently, one of my favorite ones is we just did like a really tiny, like a short reel for Worn Thin. And it's the one of me like holding the pile of dirt and the flower grows out of it. And I just like that one because it ties together like a lot of the elements we were doing for Stranger and kind of like continued like the storyline that we were trying to, in the world that we were trying to build out a little bit. And so, yeah, so that's my other one.
So do you guys got any new projects as far as video or promos or for videos for songs that you guys are working on or working on?
I don't think so. Not really. I think like we're trying. Sorry, I apologize if you guys have already talked about all of this because I'm really just coming in at the last second here. But we're just in the process now of starting to write some new stuff. So I think we don't have like with Stranger, we kind of like had this big picture idea, and I think we're looking to do that again moving forward. But just because we're like so early on in the process, I don't think we have like too many thoughts going on.
I would like to keep doing stuff for Stranger, but I don't know if people are tired of it yet. So
no, we're not.
It's I don't know. You kind of want to see the album that you put out and all the hard work and everything that you've done, like get the best that it can. But it did come out probably 8 months ago at this point. So it's like, is it too late to keep doing promo for it or videos or something? Right.
No, keep going with it.
We can do it for every song.
The next one ain't released yet, so it's still new.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the newest album until the next one drops. So just keep doing it, keep pushing it. You can shoot a video
point.
for every song.
Heck yeah.
All right, so what advice do you have for bands when it comes to video production and using that, whether it's promos or reels or full music videos?
Oh, as far as like what content do we think works the best?
Yeah, what content, how do you even start? I think for a lot of bands, it just seems overwhelming. Because you see, like, what you guys put out, and it's like, how did they have time? How did they do that? You're talking, it's a short film. It can be overwhelming. So, yeah, for other bands to even get started in, like, even get in that direction, equipment, time, what would you advise for them?
I think, like, my biggest piece of advice is make sure what you're doing is something that you like and that you personally resonate with. For me, I think like if Lunar Moth was just trying to do like trendy stuff or, I don't know, just making content for content's sake, I think that we would get burnt out because it is a ton of time. It's a huge time commitment to do reels or videos of any kind. So I would just, first and foremost, just make sure that you actually like what you're doing, whether or not that's like the trendy thing to do. And then as far as equipment goes, like for the most part, all of our videos are just done on our phones.
Yeah,
so
we use cinematic mode on Mac's iPhone for most of it.
Yep.
It's really what it is because you don't need much else. Another piece of advice I would have is like it's not going to be good out of the gate. If you take a look at a lot of our like really really early promo, it was pretty bad. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. We hired someone to help us on Cotton Candy, and we're going to continue to hire people to help us with music videos because, like, if you're doing a larger scale production, it's hard and can cost money, but sometimes that's what it needs if you want to see it through. And sometimes you just need someone to hold a cell phone, like, is what it is. Yeah. Mac, you got anything?
Yeah, I would say just have fun and don't be too serious with it, because it's at the end of the day, it's, it's just a silly 10-second video that, people aren't going to remember 2 years from now. But the
Sometimes.
amount of time, sometimes the amount of time that you are spending on it, it's kind of like might as well just enjoy it while you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And not, because I find like we're less productive and we get less stuff done when we're, like trying to like crack down and be serious. Like we need to get this done, we need to do
Right.
this and this and this and this and this, Seems like we get more done when we're just kind of silly goose about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty true.
And I think it's important to like not get hung up on the numbers. Like you can, like we have things that we post that nobody sees and nobody likes. You know what I mean?
That
And,
we
like,
spend a whole day on.
yeah, and at the end of the day, like who cares? I don't know.
Oh,
Obviously
yeah.
you want people to resonate with things, and you want you want people to like the things that you're doing, but I just don't think that you can like tie up your self-worth in it, or like the band's self-worth in the numbers game of it all, because you could go, you could really focus on it, but like we got other things to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and when you're doing it for fun anyways, and you're like, if it makes somebody laugh, that's cool, and you're doing it because you enjoy doing it, it's easier than those numbers. If it gets 10 views or 1,000, it doesn't matter. Of course, 1,000 is cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Those 10 are still cool because it doesn't matter. But then, of course, you'll have those ones where you threw something together in 5 seconds and posted it, and it gets reposted like 200 times. Like
Yeah.
10,000 people see it, and you're like, scroll down and look at some of the other ones that I put
Yeah.
time into. Please.
I will say one of the lowest effort things we've ever done was our one chip challenge to announce an album release, and that one did really well. And it was like, it was a big sacrifice because I don't know if you've had one of those chips.
Yes,
it's not fun.
I did that. It's not fun. No,
It's glad to meet somebody else who has.
Yeah.
Was that suggested by your fan base for you to do it?
No, that
no,
was Gage's idea.
That was my idea because
That was
these
your
two,
idea.
Yeah, these two didn't think it would be that bad. I was like, I hope you're ready because that is the top. It doesn't get much hotter than that.
Yeah, no, I got talked into it. I didn't want anything to do with it, but I'm just still a 15-year-old. Like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I was naive and I was like, well, if these two don't think it's going to be that bad, like I thought I was like, I know how bad it's going to be, but like I think I can. I wasn't ready. None of us were ready.
No, it takes your breath away. You start hiccuping, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
I got the hiccups really bad. I couldn't, like, and every hiccup burned, and it was so bad.
The craziest adrenaline rush from it. It was like awesome, and then just like pain for days.
Yeah, I don't think my mouth stopped burning for almost a solid hour. Like, I wouldn't say it stopped burning, but it didn't. It finally started to burn less after like almost an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. I will say good things came from it because I do make my own hot sauce now. So
I do too, actually.
Yeah.
I do smoked reaper and blackberry, and I use it on peanut butter sandwiches or vanilla ice cream.
Nice.
That
That's
sounds
awesome.
so good.
Yeah, I did a scorpion pepper, blueberry, blackberry, and that one I just abused on everything for a while. But I did a mango pineapple habanero as well, and that one is kind of like a hit for anyone who's had it because it's accessible enough, but still has like the kick that you're looking for. Yeah.
And Amber, did you do the one chip challenge too, or no?
I did, yes.
She was right there with
yeah.
us.
Oh,
It was awful. It was really bad, but it did. I feel like now I'm like a hot sauce person. Like I want all my food to be hot. I don't know if that's just like I don't know. Maybe everyone has that a little bit when they.
I think the one chip challenge burns off so many taste buds. You gotta start dumping hot sauce on it so you can taste anything ever again.
That's true. So the premise of that one was that we had to read a script that we wrote to promote our show before we could drink any milk or anything. And like by the time it kicked in, I was like finishing my lines, and these two had to do it, and Amber was just dying.
So you lucked out, Gage. You got to get
Yeah.
because
Gage got to read first.
it takes a while. You're like, oh, that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And then, ooh.
Yeah, it's man. But there are I like look back at it fondly, but at the time it was awful because like I had like a table set up. We were outside. We had like ice cream on it. I made us like some drinks with lime and gin in it because I heard like alcohol can help burn it off. The ice cream, we had chocolate milk, like all this whole spread. It felt nothing helped. Yeah.
No, not at all.
The ice cream helped the best. I found that like taking a big spoonful of vanilla ice cream and just putting it on my tongue and sitting there and letting it melt was fine, and like the pain would subside, and then as soon as all the ice cream melted, like it would come back full force, like fire in my mouth, and I had to get another scoop. And
Yeah.
we're all like sharing this tub of ice cream.
But how many views did it get?
Enough. Our show was a success. It was
There
that
you
one is
go.
about that one is about the same age as the Ghost Adventures one that you mentioned. So it's a fond memory and it's a cool video. I don't think I'd ever do it again. There are people who still mention it though, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like those are the moments where you realize like the small things where it's like, oh yeah, I liked this thing. It's like it's about as cool as someone being like, I saw you last time you came to town. You know, it's because I mean we're doing so much all the time, and you get like focused on we got to go play this show, you know, scramble to get there on time, and you know, ham fist a sandwich before you get on stage, so you're a normal person still. And it's like, oh yeah, we do more stuff than just play gigs.
Yeah.
Speaking
All
of
right.
gigs,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of gigs, I remember we filmed a video on the way to a gig one time. It was the one where I was in the back of the van doing like guitar repairs or putting strap locks on a bass. And it was like a little how-to video that I came up with. And then they're like, okay, we're going to film it on the way. And I had to share the back of the van with a dog.
That doesn't sound too bad though.
It was great. She got more space on the seat than I did, though. I would put that in, so I'm going to add that to my top one. So that's my top one.
Now, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna have to go and I'll go upstairs and go through and watch all of these again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to do the same, honestly.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap this up before Mac loses the rest of the light.
Oh yeah.
Well, thanks again for you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Keep
having
doing your videos, whether it's the promos or the reels or the full. They're so awesome. They're so fun. So few bands are doing that anymore. I appreciate what you guys do, and thank you guys for coming on. Any last things you want to say? Got anything coming up, or any last words of advice for the independent artists out there?
I think the biggest one is just like keep in touch with us. We have a website, lunarmothband.com. You can go on there. That's where all of our merch is. We do have vinyl now, which is big for us. We're 100% independent band, so everything we do is self-funded and a brainchild of all of us. So we record ourselves. It's all in-house. We do the artwork. The vinyl was made at a factory here in Madison. And we have an email newsletter sign up. It's kind of like an insider scoop. We actually just mailed out about 50 Valentines to our fans who signed up for it. So yeah, it's not just spam. You can hear about shows, you can get free stuff. We do giveaways. We give our fans Valentines, sometimes holiday cards. Maybe we'll do something for Halloween this year. I don't know.
There we go.
There we go. My final piece of advice is do what you have the capacity to do, and don't try to stretch yourselves too thin. As a band, you're already doing millions of other things like booking gigs and playing shows and rehearsing and writing music. And video promotion is super cool, but it can be like a giant time suck in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. So If you're having trouble coming up with like full-blown music video ideas, maybe doing shorter stuff is more your route. Maybe shorter stuff isn't your route. Maybe longer form content is. But I would say just do what you have capacity and like the oomph to do.
For me, I just say keep it silly and keep it fun. You don't want to not have fun, spending all that time making those videos, then it just be a drag. Keep it silly, keep it fun, and you'll have a good time either way.
All right. Well, thank you again, Gage, Mac, Amber, Lunar Moth. I really appreciate you coming on. I know how busy you guys are, so thanks again. And everybody, thanks for watching.